Dear organizers, dear guests, it is my pleasure to present to you some key findings from the social psychological work package of the MIGAPE project. The reason why the MIGAPE project had a psychological work package is the idea that there might be a psychological component that contributes to the gender gap in pensions. And more specifically, the reasoning behind this work package is that people's pensions at least partly depend on the career they build up during their active age. And the career steps that they make rest upon decisions that people make or accept. And these decisions, in turn, are guided by expectations that they have about how the decisions will work out in the future. So we wondered if there are gender differences in future expectations or in how those relate to pension relevant behaviors, and also if there are gender differences, how women can best be informed about how decisions that they accept now or choices that they make now will in the future affect their pension. So we did a survey to answer the first big question and a vignette experiment to answer the second question about how to inform women. I will first tell you a little bit about the survey study on future expectations. And in that study, we focused on a phenomenon that is well known among social psychologists and probably not so much outside social psychology, and that is comparative optimism. This is the phenomenon that people expect their personal future to be brighter than other people's future. Or stated more specifically, that people expect that bad things are less likely to happen to them and good things are more likely to happen to them than to other people. And we suspected that gender differences in comparative optimism and its consequences might contribute to the gender pension gap. And to test that suspicion, we conducted an online survey on several samples. One, a representative sample of the Belgian active population, and then a few samples from special interest groups. Now, to understand how comparative optimism can contribute to the gender pension gap, it is important to know that research in other domains suggests that higher levels of comparative optimism may be detrimental for the extent to which people prepare themselves for unpleasant events that may happen to them or prepare themselves to maximally profit from good events that will happen. And there are three potential mechanisms through which this may also happen in the domain of pensions, and more specifically, of course, to produce the gender pension gap. One mechanism is if women do not show different levels of comparative optimism than men, but if their comparative optimism is more strongly associated with suboptimal behaviors, always suboptimal in terms of their future pension. A second mechanism may happen if women show stronger comparative optimism than men concerning the extent to which they will in old age be able to rely on a partner's pension. And finally, the third and more general mechanism would be if women show more comparative optimism generally than men do. And we examined these questions, these potential mechanisms, by asking our participants to estimate how likely they were to experience a whole series of desirable and undesirable events, all events of relevance to their financial situation in old age. And what we found in the survey in all the 3 samples was that men and women show comparative optimism about many events of relevance to their prosperity in old age. And so we found in general that people expected to be better off than comparable others. We also found that this was the case both for events of relevance to maximizing one's own personal pension and for events relevant to the extent to which one will be able to rely on a partner's pension. So for both types of events, we found comparative optimism in men and in women, but we did find some gender difference, but it was the opposite of what we had expected. Here you see comparative optimism scores, so indicators of how much people expected their future to be better than other people's future. Here values above 0 reveal comparative optimism, and as you can see, for all the events in this slide, men showed stronger comparative optimism than women. These events are all related to the ability to maximize one's own income in old age, and it's from the representative sample. If we turn to events of relevance to the extent to which one will be able to rely on a partner's pension, we see the same pattern. Here again, we find comparative optimism for all the events in this slide, and the gender difference is smaller here, but where it does occur, it is always that men show more comparative optimism than women. So we can already cross out 2 mechanisms. Women are not more comparatively optimistic in general, and they are not more comparatively optimistic about how well they will be able to rely on a partner's pension in old age. So the only mechanism that remains is that perhaps comparative optimism in women is more strongly associated with suboptimal pension-relevant behavior. So we examined that by analyzing correlations between comparative optimism and gender and other measures in our survey. That is the career steps that participants reported and the extent to which they reported having thought about their pension or even worried about it while making those career steps. And what we found here is that greater comparative optimism was associated with more optimal career steps from the point of view of one's future pension, rather than the opposite way around. And not so surprisingly, we also found that the careers of the male participants were more optimal from the point of view of their future pension than the careers of the women. But we also found, much to our surprise, that women reported having thought more about their pension, and not so to our surprise that lower comparative optimism was also associated with worrying more about the pension implications of career steps. What can we already conclude from this? It is that if comparative optimism is a problem here, it is not high comparative optimism in women, but rather low comparative optimism in women. And the problem is certainly not that women care less about their pension than men. Quite on the contrary, we found in our samples. And that made us ask, why don't women act upon their greater worry? They worry more about their pension, but their careers are less optimal from the point of view of their pension. And we found two partial answers. One had to do with the freedom of choice that men and women experience in making career steps. What we found across all 4 career steps that we examined was that women perceive less freedom of choice than men do. And of course, if you feel less freedom of choice, you cannot act as much on the worries you have and the considerations you have. A second partial answer was suggested by another correlation that made us suspect that women perhaps avoid information about their pension and as a consequence lack a certain amount of information. And that correlation was that comparative optimism was associated with more active information seeking about pensions, and also being male was associated with more active information seeking. So this seems to run counter the traditional finding that comparative optimism discourages preparation by seeking information. It seems to be the case here that comparative optimism facilitates exposure to pension information, so that the lower comparative optimism in women keeps them from getting sufficient information about what career steps will do with their pension. And that raised two questions. One is why. The only explanation we could come up with is that people may expect that the information about their pension will not be that reassuring. And we know from earlier research that comparative optimism only inhibits information seeking when the information may be useful to avoid or minimize a problem, whereas a lack of comparative optimism discourages information seeking when that information is expected to be only frightening and where no ready solution will be embedded in that information. So we wonder, is information about pensions potentially threatening to people and particularly to women? And we also wondered what the consequences of that might be. Given that women's lower optimism went hand in hand with less active information seeking, we wondered if that would entail a greater pension knowledge in men than in women. Fortunately, we could answer both questions. First, to the why question, we indeed found evidence that pension information is expected to be disappointing because of all the events that we included in our comparative optimism questionnaire, one particular subset only yielded comparative pessimism rather than optimism. And these were those few events that were directly related to one's expected pension. Only for those events did we find comparative optimism. And the interesting thing here is that this comparative pessimism was stronger in women than it was in men, or where it was around 0, men showed some optimism, whereas women did not. So we did indeed find that thinking of one's own personal pension in the future might feel threatening, and particularly so for women. So if women avoid seeking information because it's too frightening, does that entail lower pension knowledge? The answer is yes, and we found that in different manners. One was that men seemed much better aware of the gender pension gap than women. Here you see the mean amounts of monthly payment that men and women expect for themselves and for their partner. And as you can see, men expect that their partners, who in most cases happen to be women, will have a lower pension than they will have, but women do not seem to be aware that their pension will be lower than their partners. And the bad news is that we also found that even in the special interest samples. We also tested our respondents' knowledge about the Belgian pension system through 7 questions, and we found very low levels of knowledge overall, but even lower levels of knowledge in women than in men, and particularly in the younger groups. Here we had some good news, and that was that the respondents from the special interest samples seemed to have somewhat more knowledge, and here there was not a gender gap in pension knowledge. So it's possible to inform women about the future and about the pension in particular. So that brought us to our second question. It is apparently possible to inform women about what career steps will do for their pension, but we wanted to know what would be more effective, presenting that information in a gain frame or in a loss frame. And we examined the effect of framing on preferences and subjective utilities, in a vignette experiment on a random sample of the iVox panel. How did we do that? We presented participants with 2 hypothetical career dilemmas, one with a benefit for one's future pension, one with a cost to one's future pension, and a greater dependence on one's partner. And to make the options seem a bit more realistic, we also added information about what the options would do to participants' current work-life balance. One career dilemma was the choice between full-time work and part-time work, and the other dilemma was taking a job opportunity or not taking it. Now, importantly, for half of the participants, the vignettes emphasized what they had to win by choosing the option that was to be of benefit for their pension. And the other half of the participants read vignettes that emphasized what it would cost to their pension and their future financial dependence if they picked the alternative option. Now, what we found in this experiment was that in general, the loss frame was somewhat more persuasive than the gain frame. The framing effects were not big and not totally consistent, but this was the pattern that came back again and again. But we also found that information in a loss frame made women worry more about what picking the option that was good for their pension would do for their personal relationship. They more strongly felt that their relationship had a better chance to survive until old age if they picked the option that was not so good for their pension. And interestingly, we also found that when women expressed their preference, they much more took the family's interest into account than men did. So women understood approximately as well as men what would be best for them personally. But when we asked the question in the form of what would you prefer, women's preferences reflected more what would be good for the family than men's preferences. What can we conclude from that? Well, first of all, that psychological factors do contribute to the persistence of the gender pension gap, not in the form of women worrying less about their pension, not in the form of women being more comparatively optimistic, but probably in the form of women, due to their lower comparative optimism, avoid information about their pension more because that is too threatening for them, and that in turn entails less pension knowledge. Of course, these data are cross-sectional and correlational, and needless to say, we hope to do longitudinal studies in the future to draw more firm conclusions on this matter. We can also conclude that information about the pension implications of career steps should above all emphasize the risks of suboptimal careers from the point of view of the pension rather than the gains of optimal careers. This information should acknowledge women's worries about what career steps will do to their relationship, and it should happen in a context of broader efforts towards societal change so that men and women feel equally free to make decisions that they know will be beneficial for their future pensions. And that brings me to the end of this presentation. I thank you very much for your attention, and if you have questions, don't hesitate to send them to me through email. Thank you again and have a nice continuation of this conference.